Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video I'm going to be continuing on tier list part 1. This is part 2, and we're going to be doing A and S tier, which is probably the tier that most people want to see, because then you can just choose the best characters. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. I suggest watching the first one if you haven't, because this one doesn't really make sense if you haven't watched the first one. So first on the tier list is Shaolin in A tier. Shaolin he's good. He's very good. I quite like him. He has an okay deflect. His deflect so it's about 25 damage, I think. But the good thing about it is you can combo it into another attack, into like chi stance, which you saw right there, and you can do a kick straight after it, which makes it so increase the deflect damage by 20. So that makes it 45 damage, which is very good. Top light for 400 milliseconds, which is extremely fast, practically unreactable. Side lights, I'm pretty sure they're around 500 milliseconds. I'm not sure though, but they deal more damage. So, and you can do 3 of them, or you can do 2 and then to chi stance. From chi stance, you can do loads of different things, like an undodgeable, heavy, stunning light, some just normal lights, which I suggest never doing because they're extremely slow. And of course you can do your kick and you're unblockable, and from the kick you can do a sweep. So there's a lot of things you can do from chi stance, so try to get into it as much as you can. That's pretty much it for Shaolin. Next up on the tier list is Shaman. Shaman is an assassin once again. Pretty good deflect, makes it so his bleed, and yeah, it gives the characters bleed, which is where Shaman thrives, because any attack when your opponent is bleeding heals you, and if you can also, instead of the normal bash, it changes into Predator's Mercy, which is one of the few attacks in the game that deals 50 damage, which is it's a lot of damage. No attack deals any more damage unless you're in Revenge, then it deals more damage, obviously. Relatively fast lights, they are kind of easy to parry if the opponent does them often, and if they don't do them often, then whatever. Dodge heavy, extremely fast, especially like the back and forward dodge heavies. They're very quick, and also just to make it a little bit better, there's a bash which does indeed wall splat, so you can get a free heavy. If it doesn't wall splat, you get a free light attack, which is very good, and you can feint any heavy into a bash, and of course feint into bleed. Next up on the tier list, Kensei. Kensei, one of my favorite characters in the game. It's very fun to use, very powerful, and not quite powerful enough to let him be in S tier. He's extremely good, but definitely not perfect. Used to be a little bit worse, but after the buff, he got a little bit better with increased side light speed, and finish your heavies. The are unblockable, which you can feint them. You feint any top heavy into a side light or a side heavy, or you can feint it into guard break. Or if it's in the first chain and the top heavy, you can chain it into like a little palm strike. Yes, what it's called. Yeah, I forgot what it's called there. But it's extremely effective and definitely worth it. You can also do the Skull Crusher. Any top attack with Shaolin or Shinobi Kensei is very quick unless it's a heavy, which are extremely slow. The only downside I can think of is extremely slow feints. Alright, next up in the tier list is Highlander, which is technically my main because I have the most reps for this character, and he's very good because if he enters, I can't remember what's called, offensive stance, there we go, all of his attacks are unblockable apart from his lights, but his lights become pretty much unreactable. They're extremely quick, and you can dodge. He has a shorter recovery time after dodges, which can be used to dodge at things, and you can do a kick, or you can feint the kick into a kick and grab, which is practically, it's 40 damage. Heavies become very quick as well. He has an enhanced light, just add a little bit more things. His wall splat deals 45 damage, which is one of the best in the game, just after Sense, obviously. It's very good. Next up on the tier list, Jormungandr. Jormungandr is very good. I recently did a video on his max punishes, which are they're quite a lot. They're one of the best punishes in the game. They're about 90 damage each, and it's just very effective. You mainly want, he thrives when your opponent is out of stamina, and if you get them out of stamina, then it's not going to be fun for them, because you can get a skull crusher, which is 50 damage, and that's once again another few moves that deal 50 damage. His light's pretty fast, pretty easy to deflect if you're good enough at deflecting, but that's the only downside I could think of. Humonganda. His heavy does wall splat. Done the video on explains what you can get on wall splat. Check that out if you want to see it. And pretty much it. His bash his like neutral bash is not very good, and it does guarantee a guard break on your opponent's half. Next up, Lawbringer. He was in S tier, but then I thought about it and decided to move him down to A tier. But he's still a very good character with extremely fast light attacks, and he's a complete and utter counter to Kensei. He just completely counters Kensei without a doubt. Yeah, he also has any heavy finish chain, like any heavy you do after a chain, does guarantee, it just does an unblockable attack, which if it's top, then you can do like a little stunning tap thing, which deals like 20 more damage or something crazy like that, and also stuns him for a little bit longer. His wall splat punishes are quite good, top heavy, guard break, side heavy. It's relatively simple, very easy character to actually learn, pretty difficult to master though. And yeah, the main reason he counters Kensei is because if you do the bash, you can parry the dodge heavy, as you saw in the video I just did, which is very good. Next up, Tiandi. I don't like him very much. I don't like many of the Wulin, which once again another Wulin that I decided to just go into training and practice against a bot. I was trying to figure out what about his dodge lights, because they do have like enhanced properties. It's very difficult to actually do, I realize that now. I got it a few times, as you can see, but definitely wasn't amazing. He's practically a mix-up expert. He's very good at mixing up different attacks, like lights into heavies and all sorts of things, kicks into lights and dodges into other dodges, which is pretty stupid, but he's very frustrating to play against. But when you get used to playing against him, he does become a little bit kind of predictable, you could say. But yeah, some people do still have a problem. Some people do still struggle playing against him. Next up, my second main, Shigoki. Extremely good, fast enough lights, and if you block them, then well, you can continue a combo. His lights are around 500 milliseconds, which isn't the fastest, but isn't exactly slow either. So you can pretty confidently like throw out a light, and you can be pretty confident that they won't parry it. But yeah, he does have very good feints with his unblockable into Demon's Embrace, or just unblockable in general, because you can feint it right at like the end of the you can feint it when it's just about to hit them. I did do that a few times. But yeah, he does also have a lot of health. I think he has the most health in the game, which is very good. He heals on Demon's Embrace, which is one of the few characters who can heal on moves apart from Shaman. Right, moving on to S tier, and of course the most obvious one first, well, second most obvious, Warden. Warden is very good. The only reason is because of his bash. Everything else about him is just kind of average. His bash is extremely good because you can feint it really late into the actual attack. You literally start moving, and then you can feint it, which is just ridiculous. And he's very annoying to play against if you're playing against a good Warden. And that's pretty much it. But he does have any like heavy chain finish isn't unblockable, which you can use to bait out a parry. His side lights do guarantee another side light, which can be very useful, and that just makes his bash mix up at least 5 times better, because well, it guarantees a side light, and a top light does not guarantee another light. You can put another light, but chances are, if they have at least half a brain cell, they will indeed parry it and then get free heavy attack. Right, moving on. Next up is Vortigo, which is another obvious person to be in S tier. All you need to know, Shield Bash. Yay! Fun. It's so much fun playing against Black Priors, because don't you love it when Shield Bashes are just completely unpunishable? Yeah, I like that too. It's pretty fun. Well, so, as you just heard me say, his Shield Bash is practically unpunishable. I think it's a whopping like there's only a few characters that can actually punish it, which is pretty stupid because everyone should be able to punish it. It should be like Conqueror's Bash, which is punishable with a guard break, but it's not. Some characters can't even punish it with a dodge heavy or dodge light, which is just ridiculous. He has very fast lights, which he can chain into an undodgeable heavy, which to counter the dodging Shield Bash. Jesus, I just hate him so much. But yeah, you can pull down and do Bollock Stance and counter any move in the game, just to make it a little bit better. And yeah, next up, Conqueror, another Shield Bash. If you notice, most of the characters in the top tier have Shield Bashes, because Shield Bashes are pretty overpowered in this game. Shield Bashes with Conqueror guarantee around, I think around 15 damage, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I know it guarantees a lot of damage, which is not very good. But the only good thing about it is you can punish it with a guard break. And yeah, you can also, after a light attack, you can do a guard break, which I did notice that does wall splat after a light. If you do a light into Shield Bash, it wall splats, which guarantees a side heavy. I'm not sure about top heavies. I know it guarantees a side heavy. That's all I know it guarantees. So his light attacks and heavies can be chained infinitely, because why not? And you can also feint a heavy into a full block stance or a Shield Bash, which is pretty good. His like full block stance is very good. You get an uppercut, which deals around 35 damage, very good. And it's completely you can't do anything about it if you hit the shield. It does get countered by guard break though. Right, another one in S tier, Berserker. Berserker's very good at taking out minions, and he just has a lot of feints, which most of the time is not too good. So yeah, he does have very fast lights, and he does have one of the best deflects in the game. You saw me get about 2 deflects there, but I was out of stamina, so I couldn't do anything. Great, fun, love it. But yeah, he does have some of the best lights in the game. They're extremely fast, deal plenty of damage, and he can just feint heavies into lights. You can feint them into heavies, which he feints into another lights. Pretty much feint every heavy you do, and it just looks like fancy light spam. So yeah, his zone, one of the best zones in the game, guarantees about 24 damage. Very good. You can do a very fast light at the end of it, which pretty much no one can react to, because it's like 300 milliseconds. It's really fast. It's really stupid. But he's probably pretty balanced considering he's in S tier, but it's just very good. Next up, most obvious one, Raider. Because Raider, I shouldn't really need to say anything other than Raider is in S tier, but I will, because I just won't go on a ramble about him. He's just, I hate playing against him. I hate using him. He's just not a very fun character. His moveset is pretty repetitive. It's just light, stunning tap, unblockable, stunning tap. It's just stunning tap, unreactable. His lights, reactable. They are reactable. In fact, I can deflect them most of the time. His heavies, pretty slow, and hyper armor, of course, more hyper armor. Love it. But he has hyper armor on like chain heavies, which can get pretty annoying. You can feint them into stunning taps, which is about 400 milliseconds, something really stupid like that. And you can also change the timing of which they come out, just to make it a little bit better, because it's not like he obviously needed it. No, he doesn't. He's ridiculously overpowered. That's why he's in S tier. But I think I've said enough. I shouldn't need to say any more, because everyone should know that Raider is just completely and utterly ridiculously overpowered. Okay, moving on to someone who's debatably as overpowered, but I don't think he is. Hitakiri, hyper armor. It's just all his movesets after like most of his all of his heavies have hyper armor. He just has so much hyper armor in any of his moves. He does have a very good 50-50. His 50-50 is one of the best in the game, which is his kick into, or it could be feinted into like a guard break. It's very, very good. His heavies can be chained infinitely. You can end a chain with a light attack, which once again has hyper armor, because why not? Yeah, the start of any like chain, first heavy always has hyper armor at pretty much the start, so we can trade extremely well. His heavy guarantees a heavy, whereas no, his kick guarantees a heavy, which is around 30 damage, which is one of the best in the game. This is really good. And that's pretty much it for his Kiri. His light's relatively fast. His sprint attack, it's okay. His dodge forward heavy, once again, another okay move. It's all about his hyper armor and kick 50-50. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. And that's pretty much it for this tier list. Tier list is over. If you disagree, then just tell me, and I'll probably say you're wrong and ignore your comment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.